Part 2. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanzhe. Chapter 11. During the 4 years of college, most of the memories left to Li Zhe are pale and boring. Xiao Qiao is one of the rare flashes of brilliance. After running around the 2 canteens for more than 20 minutes, Li Zhe stopped when he felt his body was warm and sweating slightly. After pressing his legs again and stretching for a while, he went to the cafeteria to have breakfast. When Li Zhe finished his breakfast and returned to the dormitory with 2 breakfasts, he found that Lin Jing's bed was empty, but He Zhigang and the 3 of them were still lying in bed. After putting down his breakfast, Li Zhe found a canvas satchel, which was used to hold lottery tickets. He also took his ID card and bank card, then said hello to He Zhigang and the others, and went out. Li Zhe was going to the city to buy lottery tickets. Although there was a lottery shop in the small commercial street outside the school, Li Zhe still chose to go to the city. The small commercial street was too close to the school. In such a small area, if he won the big prize, it would be difficult to hide the news. Once the news of winning the lottery spreads, it will inevitably cause all kinds of troubles. The wealth is touching, 13 to 4 million, let alone in 2007, even more than 10 years later, it is also a huge sum of money, enough to make many people coveted it and took risks out of desperation. In particular, Li Zhe is still just a student in a different place with no foundation. Li Zhe took the number 210 bus at the stop outside the small south gate of the school and arrived at Nanqiao station in more than 40 minutes. Then he transferred to the number 22 bus and took more than 30 minutes to reach the commercial street in the city. Hongcheng Normal University is located in a remote suburb. Although the environment is good, the transportation is too inconvenient. It takes 2 or 3 hours to go back and forth by car. Li Zhe decided that when he got rich, he must buy a car, otherwise it would be too inconvenient to travel to and from the city. He walked around the pedestrian street, bought a peaked cap, and put on big sunglasses. Then he found a lottery shop nearby and walked directly in. "Boss, win the lottery ticket for me," Li Zhe said, taking out a piece of paper from his pocket and handing it to the other party. The owner of the lottery shop was a middle-aged man in his early 40s with a stout figure. He took the paper and was stunned when he looked at it. He said in an uncertain tone, "Young man, the set of numbers you chose has a lot of bets." He took a calculator and calculated, "The total is 2,300 bets. Young man, are you sure you want to buy this many?" "Yes, and give me 2 times more." "Twice it again?" "Young man, are you sure? This is tens of thousands of yuan, not a small amount. Are you sure you want to buy it?" Faced with the doubts from the owner of the lottery shop, Li Zhe took out a large stack of 100 yuan bills from his canvas bag and said, "Sure, boss, I brought all the money. Just go ahead and play the lottery." Before he came, he went to the bank and withdrew all the money from the bank card. "Young man, you are really generous. My lottery shop has been open for 2 or 3 years, and you are the first to buy lottery tickets worth tens of thousands of yuan at a time." Seeing someone buying lottery tickets worth tens of thousands of yuan, several old lottery players who were hanging around in the store immediately gathered around and asked questions. "Young man, how dare you buy a lottery ticket with so much money? Have you mastered any tricks? Does your family know?" But no matter how they asked, Li Zhe didn't say anything. Seeing this, several old lottery players quickly lost interest. This young man has a cold temper. Lottery tickets are continuously spit out from the machine. An old lottery player curiously picked up the piece of paper with the lottery number and looked at it, and then asked tentatively, "Young man, can I buy a set with you?" Li Zhe still didn't speak. Another old lottery player said with a smile, "One set is 4,600 yuan. Lao Zhou, are you willing to buy it?" It took nearly 2 hours to print more than 1,000 lottery tickets by machine. During this period, The owner of the lottery shop also changed the lottery paper twice. Li Jie put all the lottery tickets into a canvas satchel and put them away, then put away the page with the lottery numbers on it, then picked up the satchel and left the lottery shop. After Li Jie left, the old lottery player named Lao Zhou picked up a pen and paper and wrote down the lottery numbers on the paper. Several other old lottery players curiously asked, "Lao Zhou, you don't really want to buy it, do you?" Lao Zhou shook his head, "I just want to buy it, but I don't have that much money. I'm just curious to see if that guy can win the jackpot." Some people said disdainfully, "I think that kid is just wasting money. He only wants to win 5 million for a few $1,000s. If the rules were so easy to study, he would have won the lottery." Others echoed, "Yeah, you're still too young. Don't be in a hurry when buying lottery tickets, you have to wait and see. It's better for you, old Shen. As long as you sell the lottery tickets, you will make a profit. This will make a lot of money." After coming out of the lottery shop, Li Jie touched the only 57 yuan left in his pocket, and suddenly felt uneasy. When he was young, he didn't really value money. He always felt that love could be earned, but love couldn't be bought with money. It wasn't until he reached a complete trough in his life that he truly saw reality clearly. It turns out that money can really buy everything. The relationship you value may not be worth thousands or hundreds of dollars in the eyes of others. From then on, Li Jie felt insecure without bringing hundreds of dollars with him when he went out. Even though he later got used to paying by mobile phone and rarely used cash. What if I really don't win the lottery? This thought flashed through Li Jie's mind. At that time, whether he likes it or not, Li Jie will have no choice but to drop out of school and go work. It is absolutely impossible for him to open his mouth and take care of the tens of thousands of yuan in tuition and living expenses at home. Li Jie asked 3 or 4 small hotels in succession and found a single room that cost 30 yuan, with cable TV and a relatively clean environment. He was not going to go back to school today and would stay in the city directly and wait for the lottery draw in the evening. At noon, Li Jie went to the convenience store and bought some buckets of instant noodles, ham sausage and water for more than 10 yuan. This was his lunch and dinner today. At this time, Li Jie only had 10 yuan left in his pocket. Unless he won the lottery tonight, this money would be enough for his travel expenses back to school. When people are waiting, time always passes very slowly. Li Jie leaned on the hotel bed, watching TV boredly, holding the remote control and changing it one by one. Later, he simply turned off the TV, asked the hotel proprietress for a pen and some paper, and began to write the outline of the volumes of Martial Arts Without Limits. But there is something on my mind, and I can't calm down when writing. Li Jie wrote for 2 hours and barely managed to write more than 1,000 words. He didn't write much, but the purpose of staying up for the time was achieved. After eating instant noodles in the evening, Li Jie turned on the TV and watched for a while. The time finally reached 9:15, and the Shuangsikaiu official lottery started on time. The red number ball rotated rapidly in the transparent lottery machine, and soon the first small ball fell down. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanjie. Chapter 12. The first number was 08. Li Jie glanced at the lottery number on the paper and realized it was right. The second number is 20, the third number is 06, the third number is right, right, right again. The first 5 numbers are all correct. The corresponding numbers are 08, 20, 06, 18, and 33. If the sixth number also wins, the second prize of 3 bets will be won. The sixth number is 04. Hit, all 6 ordinary numbers hit. Li Jie shook his fist excitedly. His memory was correct. All the red balls hit, and the most critical blue ball came next. As long as the blue ball is the same as 11 in the previous life. The 16 blue number balls rotate rapidly in the lottery machine. Host, This issue's blue ball has been generated, it is number 11. Number 11. It's the same ball number 11 as in the previous life. The grand prize of more than 10 million has been obtained. The corners of Li Zhe's mouth raised slightly and he smiled faintly. At this moment, his heart felt surprisingly calm. It's only more than 10 million. For the reborn, this is just the beginning. That night, Li Zhe was busy working on prizes until 2 or 3 o'clock in the night. There were more than 1,300 lottery tickets and 6,900 bets. Li Zhe's eyes were dazzled when he found one bet. Finally, we found 3 bets for the first prize, 6 add 1, with a bonus of 15 million, 15 bets for the third prize, 5 add 1, with a bonus of 45,000, 45 bets for the fourth prize, 4 add 1, with a bonus of 9,000, 5 the first prize is 6,837 bets, 3 add 1, and the bonus is 68,370. That night, Lao Shen, the owner of the lottery shop, stared at the winning numbers on the TV, unable to hide the shock on his face. The young man who bought a lottery ticket worth more than 10,000 yuan seems to have won. Sure enough, at around 10 o'clock in the evening, he received a call from the administrator of the welfare lottery center. His site won the first prize of 3 double-color balls. It would be great if I bought a set too. After hanging up the phone, the thought of regret flashed through Lao Shen's heart. This night, dormitory 206. After the lights were turned off, several people in the dormitory were lying on the bed chatting. He's Higang said, "What has Jizi been doing? The dormitory is closed and he hasn't come back yet." "He won't come back tonight, right?" Lin Jing said, "Maybe something is wrong." Yang Hao suddenly said in a mean tone, "I guess Brother Zhe must have gone to relax." "Relax your body, relax for what?" He's Higang didn't know why. "Just looking for Miss Wang's Haihang said directly. "Damn, Huzi, you are so dirty," He's Higang couldn't help but frown. "What's wrong with me?" Yang Hao cried out. The man spent the night outside, either surfing the internet all night, or renting a room. Brother Zhe wasn't at school all day today. He must have gone to the city to rent a room. He doesn't have a girlfriend, so why rent a room alone? "I don't think Jizi is that kind of person." He's Higang still didn't believe it. "I don't think so either," Lin Jingyi said. "Brother Jing, you have a girlfriend, so you don't need to spend money to relax like us," Yang Hao said with a smile. At this time, Wang's Haihang said, "Actually, we are all men, and it is normal to have physiological needs." Lin Jing suddenly asked, "Yang Hao, you just said we, have you ever spent money to relax?" Yang Hao, cough, cough. When He's Higang saw this, he immediately became angry. "Huzi, you are such a shameless person. Yesterday you even licked your face and said you were a virgin." Yang Hao chuckled, "I am really a virgin, a man who has been processed." He's Higang said, "Damn. Huzi, please have some face, I'm begging you." Wang's Haihang also smiled and said, "Huzi, as far as shamelessness is concerned, I will only obey you." Yang Hao smiled, not caring about being hurt at all. "Stop talking about me, tell me, Brother Jing, how far have you progressed with your girlfriend? Is there a home run?" When they talked about this, He's Higang and Wang's Haihang suddenly became energetic. "Yes, Lin Zi, tell me, how far have you two progressed?" The next morning, as soon as Lao Shen arrived at his lottery shop, he saw Lao Zhou and a group of other old lottery players gathered outside the door early. Among them, Lao Zhou looked decadent and his eyes were bloodshot, as if he hadn't slept all night. "Old Shen is here. Old Shen, that kid really won the jackpot yesterday. If only I had followed suit and bought a set yesterday, who knows, he could have won the prize. Old Shen, this is the first time someone in your lottery shop has won a multi-million-dollar prize." A group of old lottery players started talking about it as soon as they saw Lao Shen. Lao Shen nodded and sighed, That young man was so lucky yesterday. I don't think it's luck, an old lottery player said with confidence. I was there yesterday, and the young man chose 03, 04, and 08. The results were all correct. The killing numbers were 01, 05, 07, 09, 19, the results are all correct, so I guess that young man must have studied certain rules. I also think that the guy yesterday was very purposeful, as if he was sure he could win the lottery. Someone immediately followed up. Yes, he is still wearing a hat and sunglasses, as if he is deliberately hiding his identity. Many other people also agreed. But some people don't believe it. Stop talking nonsense. If we could really study the pattern, wouldn't we win 5 million? I think it's just luck. It happened by chance. In hindsight, your analysis is very clear now. Why didn't you buy a set with that guy yesterday? You won 5 million. Some people gloated. I think the biggest pity is that Laojo, if he really buys a set. Laojo shook his head, his face full of bitterness. I will never buy lottery tickets again. I really have no chance of winning the jackpot. Yesterday, he was really tempted, but it was just a thought. At 10 a.m., Li Jie walked into the Provincial Welfare Lottery Center wearing cheap sportswear, a peaked cap and sunglasses, holding the Sun Wukong hood he specially bought in his hand. Before coming to the Welfare Lottery Center, Li Jie had already visited 4 or 5 lottery stores and cashed out all the 3rd-, 4th-, and 5th prize tickets in his hand, leaving only 3 first prize tickets. I got more than 100,000 yuan. But even though Li Jie had deliberately dispersed his prize redemptions, his ability to redeem thousands of 5th prizes at once still attracted a lot of attention and questioning. As the grand prize winner, Li Jie's arrival was warmly received by the staff. He called and communicated with the Welfare Lottery Center in the morning. Prize redemption room. Mr. Li, congratulations on winning the first prize of the 3-bet Zhuang Sakaiyu. You are so lucky. Congratulations. After checking the lottery ticket and ID card, a middle-aged man congratulated Li Jie. Thanks. Sorry, Director Zhao. Li Jie also said politely. The process of receiving the award was not as cumbersome and responsible as Li Jie thought. After checking the authenticity of the lottery ticket and personal information, and confirming that everything was correct, Li Jie got the bonus quickly. 3. Note the first prize, a total of 15 million. However, if the lottery winning amount exceeds 10,000 yuan, individual accidental income tax will be levied, and the tax rate is 20%. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanjie. Chapter 13. This means that Li Jie has to pay 3 million in taxes. In the end, only 12 million were available. Prizes are awarded by wire transfer check. After receiving the check, the winner needs to go to the designated cooperative bank of the Welfare Lottery Center to handle the transfer procedures. Only then will the money actually come into your hands. Of course, the common award receiving process is also essential. It is what people usually see in the lottery news, the scene where the lucky winner wears various monster headgear to receive the prize. Li Jie put on the Sun Wukong hood and took photos with the staff of the Welfare Lottery Center for publicity. There will be reporters taking photos and conducting interviews. Also, there is the donation link afterwards. At this stage, there are media reporters and lottery center staff who will persuade the winners to donate, asking you what you are going to do after receiving so much money, how much you are going to donate to the country's welfare undertakings, etc. Although this donation is completely voluntary, and the decision of whether to donate or not rests with the lottery winner, most lottery winners cannot withstand persuasion and will choose to donate some because of their face. Moreover, donating a small amount of money can also avoid moral kidnapping and the pressure of public opinion. Director Zhao, this donation is entirely voluntary, right? Yes, but we still hope that Mr. Li can contribute to national charity. Director Zhao changed his voice. Besides, charitable donations are tax deductible. When Li Jie heard this, he immediately became interested. How to get tax exemption? For example, Mr. Li, if you win 1,550 yuan and donate 3 million yuan, you personally need to pay tax based on 80% of the prize amount, which means 12 million yuan. On the donation, you need to pay 300 yuan tax. 10,000 yuan, and you only need to pay tax of 2.4 million yuan after donating. Li Jie. If you don't donate, you'll pay 20% tax. If you donate, you'll still pay 20% tax. Does it make a difference? Where is the tax exemption? I'm not good at math, don't lie to me. However, when Li Jie thought about it carefully, there was really a difference. This is equivalent to gaining the reputation of donating 3 million with only 2.4 million. But he doesn't dare to expose his identity at all. What's the use of fame? I decided to take out 10,000 yuan from the bonus and donate it to Hongcheng City Charity to do my part for the country's charity. Li Jie really did his best. For a donation of 10,000 yuan, he actually only needed to donate 8,000 yuan. Pop. After Li Jie finished speaking, 4 or 5 seconds passed before some sparse applause erupted at the award ceremony venue. Mr. Li, on behalf of the Charity Association, I would like to express my gratitude for your kind deed. When shaking hands with Li Jie, Director Zhao smiled very reluctantly. After coming out of the welfare lottery center, Li Jie touched the check in his pocket, his heart filled with satisfaction, joy, and relaxation. Got 12 million. All I can think about is this. Even though he was mentally prepared before coming, he still couldn't help but get excited when he got the check worth 12 million. Li Jie found a corner, took off his cheap sportswear, and threw it into the trash can on the roadside along with his cap and sunglasses. He bought this sportswear and hood specially in the morning to hide his identity. Now that he has collected the prize, it is useless. Then, Li Jie took the check and went straight to the nearby welfare lottery cooperative bank. More than 40 minutes later, Li Jie walked out of the bank. When cashing the check, Li Jie was warmly received by the bank staff and walked into the VIP room for the first time in his life. However, he politely rejected the deputy branch president's suggestions of applying for large denomination certificates of deposit and opening a financial account. I only applied for a MasterCard Platinum card, and the limit was not high, only 100,000. Of course, if Li Jie agreed to apply for a large denomination certificate of deposit, it would be easy to apply for a high denomination credit card with a limit of 1 million, but how could he be willing to throw his money in the bank and earn interest? He hailed a taxi on the side of the road. After getting in, Li Jie said to the driver, "Master, go to Xinhai Computer City." Xinhai Computer City is the largest computer city in Hongcheng City. It is a comprehensive hypermarket that integrates the retail and wholesale of its products. It is divided into 2 floors and has more than 400 boutique rooms and counters, with a huge flow of people. In the previous life, Li Jie came to Computer City for the first time on National Day. He and his gang spent more than an hour shopping there before buying an MP4. Li Jie originally planned to give that MP4 to Tan Hui as a confession gift, but he didn't give it out. This time, with a net worth of tens of millions, Li Jie naturally showed no mercy when buying things. It only took him 10 minutes to buy an Asus F8H725 laptop worth more than 9,000 yuan and a Nokia 6300 worth more than 2,000 yuan. And an Apomp 4 worth more than 800 yuan. After carrying his things out of the computer city, Li Jie checked the time and found that it was already 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Only then did he feel a little hungry. In fact, he didn't eat at all in the morning. The stimulation of money made him forget about hunger. So, Li Jie took a taxi to the commercial street, found a specialty restaurant, and had a simple meal. After eating, Li Jie continued shopping. In a clothing store, Li Jie stood in front of the mirror, looking at the trendy brands he was wearing, nodded with satisfaction, and then swiped his card to pay. He didn't know how to buy clothes, so he asked the shopping guide to help match them. If he thought they looked good, he would buy them. He left a message, "Help me throw away my old clothes." Li Jie went straight to the next store. T-shirts, shirts, jeans, casual wear, sportswear, as long as he sees clothes and shoes he likes, Li Jie will buy them. As for whether it is a brand, Li Jie doesn't care. As long as the clothes are good looking and comfortable to wear, he doesn't plan to go to the bar to pick up girls, and he doesn't need to wear big name clothes to look cool. At this time, the trend of comparison on campus is not that strong yet. Most girls only buy clothes based on the appearance and not the brand. If you are really wearing a big brand, other girls may regard your clothes as a piece of merchandise, or they may think your clothes are ugly. After walking around the pedestrian street, Li Jie's hands were filled with bags of all sizes, and he ended his buying trip until he couldn't hold any more. It's around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Nanqiao Station. It is 34 kilometers from the city to the school, and a taxi costs more than 100 yuan, which is such a waste. Li Jie decided to take the bus. The number 210 bus runs once an hour. While Li Jie was waiting for the bus, he unexpectedly met an acquaintance, Tan Hui. She was with a petite and cute girl, both of them holding shopping bags. At this time, Tan Hui also saw Li Jie, and both of them were a little surprised. No one expected to meet each other here. Li Jie smiled and nodded at Tan Hui, but Tan Hui just looked at him coldly and turned away. Li Jie smiled and didn't care. He was in a very good mood now. After waiting for more than 20 minutes, the bus finally arrived. Li Jie got in the car, found an aisle seat in the back and sat down, put all the bags in his hands on the ground, then took out his Nokia 6300 and started playing with it. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanjie. Chapter 14. In Li Jie's view, this mobile phone is still too backward. It is made of all metal, has a 2-inch screen, a Banzai system, 2 million pixels, a 512 memory card, and a 2G network. If this configuration is left for more than 10 years, it will be an old man's machine level. But from 2007 to 2008, the Nokia 6300 was the world's best-selling mobile phone and the most popular mobile phone. Accustomed to later generations of smartphones, Li Jie rated this phone as barely usable. It was much better than his original Nokia 1100, an antique phone that could only play Snake. At least he can use his mobile phone to log in to QQ, he comforted himself. Suddenly Li Jie felt someone looking at him, raised his head and found that it was the girl with Tan Hui. The girl smiled friendly at him, and Li Jie smiled back at her. 40 minutes later, the bus stopped in front of the main entrance of the school. Huo Lily got off the bus with Tan Hui. She looked at Li Jie's retreating back and said, "Zai, do you know that boy?" Tan Hui glanced at Li Jie in the distance, hesitated and said, "He is my high school classmate." "Then you didn't say hello when we met," Huo Lily said puzzledly. Facing Huo Lily's questioning, Tan Hui couldn't help but frown. She didn't want to mention Li Jie more, and said calmly, "I'm just an ordinary classmate, not very familiar with him." Ordinary classmate, Huo Lily didn't believe it at all. She observed Tan Hui's expression and guessed, it can't be her ex-boyfriend, right? "I still miss you after breaking up, and I traveled thousands of miles to catch up with you." "No," Tan Hui interrupted her urgently. "No, what are you in a hurry for? That's not true." "Okay, if it's not, it's not." Seeing that Tan Hui was really anxious, Huo Lily stopped making fun of her, but in her heart, she became more and more sure of her guess. The relationship between Tan Hui and this boy must be unusual. Zai, you are classmates, you should know your names, right? Tan Hui asked back, Lily, why do you always ask about him? Are you not interested in him? Huo Lily smiled and said, yes. Zai, why don't you introduce it to me? Tan Hui frowned and said, Lily, are you serious or are you joking? Huo Lily looked at Tan Hui and suddenly laughed, of course I'm joking. Besides, even if I like someone, they may not like me. She paused and said, he is handsome and comes from a good family. There will definitely be no shortage of girls to chase a boy like him. You said Li Jie is handsome and has a good family background. Tan Hui was amused by Huo Lily's words. It turns out that his name is Li Jie, Huo Lily suddenly realized. Zai, Li Jie's conditions are not good enough? Are your expectations too high? Tan Hui was dissatisfied and said, my vision is high. Then tell me how good his conditions are. Seeing Tan Hui's dissatisfaction, Huo Lily analyzed, first of all, he is not bad looking. Although he is not particularly handsome, he can still be considered handsome. Tan Hui thought for a while, and it was true. Huo Lily didn't say it, but she really didn't pay attention. After 2 days of absence, Li Jie did look a lot more refreshing and handsome. Secondly, I think he is about 180 centimeters tall. Isn't he too short? There is number 180, only 178, Tan Hui couldn't help but corrected. Huo Lily smiled, you're still not familiar with me, how come you know someone's height so well? Besides, people who spend tens of thousands of dollars just after starting school probably don't have a bad family background. 10,000 yuan, Tan Hui was shocked by her words. Huo Lily nodded, I'm going to keep it simple. You may not have noticed that the Asus laptop he bought is not cheap. It is definitely not a low-end machine. It costs at least 7 or 8,000, and it is very possible that it costs tens of thousands. And it's very possible. He also bought a new mobile phone, Nokia 6300, which is the same one used by our sleeping partner Tsuyu. The price is more than 2,000, and the clothes and shoes he bought, although I don't recognize most of the brands, they are not cheap. After listening to Huo Lily's analysis, Tan Hui was completely stunned. It's impossible. Li Jie's family is from a very ordinary background. It's impossible for him to have so much money. Although she didn't go to Li Jie's house, she knew that his family environment was not very good, even worse than hers. Huo Lily shook her head, not necessarily. Some wealthy families will raise their children in poverty. Tan Hui sneered and said, Lily, have you watched too many TV series? A rich young man pretending to be a poor boy. You can't think of that. Huo Lily glanced at her and said, Zai, do you really understand him? Tan Hui was silent. Does she really understand Li Jie? Tan Hui found that Li Jie's impression in her mind became increasingly blurred. As soon as Li Jie returned to the dormitory carrying large and small bags, he was surrounded by his Hegang and Yang Hao. Jizi? When you change your clothes, you look so much more handsome. I almost don't recognize you anymore. Why did you buy such clothes and shoes? How much did they cost? Asus laptop. An MP4. Brother Jie, your mobile phone has also been changed. Jizi, it costs tens of thousands of yuan at least to buy these things, right? Wang Haiheng's eyes looked as if he had just met Li Jie. Li Jie smiled and said, about that, it's less than 20,000 yuan. 20,000 yuan, He's Hegang took a breath, my dad only earns more than 20,000 yuan a year. Jizi, you spent it all at once. This is too extravagant. At this time, the average salary in Beijing and Shanghai was only 3,000 yuan. Brother Gang, I didn't spend uncle's money, Li Jie joked. Then he explained, Actually, it's okay. My family has a little money, and my family was very strict when I was in high school. Now that I'm far away, my family can't control me even if they want to. Brother Jie, are you a rich second generation? Yang Hao's tone revealed envy. Li Jie said modestly, it's hard to say, but my family background is slightly better. Li Jie also didn't expect that he would one day pretend to be a rich second generation. News on campus spreads very fast, and before long, many people will know that he is a rich second generation. With this persona, it is normal to spend money lavishly. Wang Haiheng took out a cigarette, gave one to He Zhigang and Yang Hao, and then handed one to Li Jie. Jizi, want one? Li Jie didn't refuse and took it. He was not a smoker and only smoked one or two occasionally when socializing. Yang Hao took out his lighter and lit it for Li Jie diligently. Brother Jie, can you lend me your laptop to play with? Of course. When I'm not using it, you can just play with it as you like, Li Jie said nonchalantly. Brother Jie is righteous. Once the identity of the second generation rich was exposed, Li Jie obviously felt that Wang Haiheng's attitude towards him became more friendly, and Yang Hao was even more flattering. Huang Bo said, when I was not famous before, I could always meet all kinds of villains on the set. Now that I am famous, I am surrounded by good people, and every one of them is full of smiling faces. The world is so realistic. If you are rich and powerful, passers-by will look down upon you, but if you are down and out, even your relatives will look down on you. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanjie. Chapter 15. After Li Jie finished smoking, he saw Yang Hao and He Zhigang playing with their laptops. He got up and walked out of the dormitory. When he came to the end of the corridor, he took out his mobile phone and called his mother. It's very good, Mom. The teachers and classmates here at school are very nice. Don't worry. After briefly chatting with his mother, Li Jie hung up the phone. Putting the phone away, Li Jie sighed lightly. In the end, he still didn't say the news about winning. If this were me in the previous life, I would definitely share the good news with my mother as soon as possible. Most of the 12 million bonus will be taken out and handed over to my mother for safekeeping. Most rebirth novels have a plot in which the protagonist is so excited that his eyes well up with tears when he meets his parents who were young years ago. Li Jie didn't know what other people were like, but the relationship between him and his parents became more and more distant as he got older. When he was young, Li Jie's character was that of being devoted to his family, full of enthusiasm and sincerity, but later he discovered that he was wrong. Getting along with his parents also requires skills and standards. Understanding and tolerance gradually became a matter of course. You give sincerely, but what you get in return are complaints and accusations. In the last life, Li Jie had been taking care of his mother. His half-brother was far away from home. He had not sent anything to his mother in many years, transferred a penny, and rarely even made phone calls. Li Jie never complained about this. When he was in college, his mother used all her savings to buy a house for his brother. Li Jie also understood that, as his mother said, it was more difficult for his brother to make money since he had never gone to college. But what happened in exchange was that they both hated each other. Li Jie once overheard his mother complaining to his brother on the phone that your brother can't tolerate me. The words "can't tolerate me" made his heart feel cold. It is true that if you are close, you will be distant, if you are far, you will be fragrant, if you are close, you will be tired, and if you are far away, you will miss you. If you do more, you will make more mistakes, if you do less, you will make more mistakes, if you do less, you will make more mistakes. The longer we get along and the closer we get together, the more conflicts there will be. I gave sincerely, regardless of gains and losses, but in the end I only got a sentence that said I can't tolerate it. From then on, the relationship between mother and son remained the same on the surface, but in fact there was an invisible rift between the two. Li Jie also learned to hide it and weigh it before speaking, just like he did to outsiders. True to that sentence, sincerity has never been retained since ancient times, only tricks can win people's hearts. This incident made Li Jie understand the truth that relationships need to be managed and even calculated. You can't let down all your guard against anyone, otherwise the person you love the most is often the person who hurts you the most. The moment you give your sincerity, you have already lost. Li Jie walked to the window and looked at the students coming and going downstairs. His heart was full of loneliness. He was back to the age of 19, but that state of mind could never go back. At 6 o'clock in the evening, Li Jie, He's Higang, Wang Haiheng, and Yang Hao came to the third floor of the teaching building, Ziwen Building, to hold the university's first class meeting. There are 4 classes in total for the Chinese language and literature major. Li Jie and the others are in class 2, while Lin Jing and Chen Boyun are in class 3. Normal colleges generally have more girls than boys. The same goes for Li Jie and his Chinese class 2. There are 41 students in total, of which 32 are girls and only 9 boys. They can't even make up a football team. In such an environment, he failed to find a girlfriend in 4 years of college. Thinking about it now, Li Jie felt that he had failed in his previous life. When Li Jie and the others came to the classroom, there were already more than 20 people, among whom there were only 2 boys. As soon as the 4 boys, males, came in, they immediately attracted the attention of the girls. Some bold girls even pointed at them secretly and whispered. Li Jie took a general look around and found many familiar faces. The 4 of them sat down next to 2 boys. Among the 2 boys, the dark-skinned one was called Cheng Xiang from Jingcheng, and the other shorter one was named Su Yang Chuan. People. Yang Hao whispered, the girls in our class are of good quality. Cheng Xiang said, that tall girl is the most beautiful and has a good figure. It would be great if I could catch her. Wang Haiheng took a look at it and said, it's indeed beautiful, but it doesn't look easy to chase. Yang Hao stared at the girl and said, long legs, white and straight. Anyone who has such a girlfriend would be so happy. The girl seemed to notice that Cheng Xiang and the others were talking about her, and turned to look at a few of them. The girl is tall, at least 167 centimeters tall. This height is not conspicuous in the north, but she stands out in the south. She has a good figure and a pure and beautiful face. She is also very good at dressing up, so she stands out among the girls. In Li Jie's memory, the girl named Lu Kai was one of the most beautiful girls in the Chinese major. She had a boyfriend not long after the school started, and he was a senior in the first year of graduate school. He's Higang pointed at another tall girl. The girl had fair skin and was the cute type. I think this girl is pretty good. Yang Hao smiled and said, Brother Gang, it turns out you like this. Then asked Li Jie what he liked. Li Jie said that he already has a target and will not compete with you. He's Higang. Yang Hao and others immediately asked who it was. Li Jie said, you will know when the time comes. At about 6:30, the counselor walked in. The counselor's name is Zhang Han, a slightly fat young girl in her early 20s, who is also Li Jie's first-year graduate student. Zhang Han first spoke to welcome the new students, and then mainly made 3 points. The first point is to pay attention to personal safety. The second point is military training. Before the start of school, there will be a 10-day military training. Military training uniforms will be distributed in the evening. Military training will officially begin at 9 a.m. tomorrow. The third point is to elect class cadres. Because the school has just started and the classmates are not familiar with each other, the class leaders elected this time are temporary, with a term of 1 month. They will be re-elected after the National Day. Interested students can participate in the election. There are many people who are interested in the class election. There are many benefits to being a class leader in college, such as joining the party, and applying for scholarships and grants. Class leaders have more advantages than ordinary students, and serving as a class leader is an honor and can be included in your resume. Cheng Xiang confidently wanted to elect the squad leader and asked the boys to vote for him. He Zhigang also said he wanted to elect the sports committee member. Wang Zhaiheng, Yang Hao, and Li Jie all expressed their support. Yang Hao asked Li Jie what he wanted to choose, but Li Jie said he didn't want to choose. He went to college again to make up for his youth, to have more girlfriends, not to serve his teachers and classmates. Before running for class, the first thing to do is to introduce yourself. Every student must step onto the podium and introduce themselves. Cheng Xiang was the first to step onto the podium. "Hello everyone, my name is Cheng Xiang, from the beautiful capital." After making some idle remarks and giving an election speech and canvassing votes in advance, I walked away contentedly. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanzhe. Chapter 16. With Cheng Xiang at the beginning, everyone became more enthusiastic. One by one, they took the stage and introduced themselves generously or shyly. When Lu Kaiyu came on stage, although her speech was very simple, she won the warmest applause from the boys. It doesn't matter what you say, as long as it's eye-catching. When it was Li Jie's turn, he just said, "Hello everyone, my name is Li Jie. I come from Haihe province and I like writing," and then stepped down. Suddenly, Yang Hao poked He Zhigang with his arm. "Brother Gang." It was the cute girl that He Zhigang had taken a liking to who came on stage. "Hello everyone, my name is Chen Mengting, from southern Fujian province." As soon as the girl opened her mouth, someone in the audience laughed out loud. It turned out that she spoke with a Taiwanese accent. The girl didn't mind at all when someone laughed at her and introduced herself generously. Li Jie was most impressed by Chen Mengting. She was the youth league secretary who recommended him to the Self-Discipline Association in his previous life. On the surface, she was an innocent, cute, and particularly lovable girl. Even now, Li Jie is not sure whether this girl is pure or genuine. In the next class election, Cheng Xiang got his wish and became the squad leader, and He Zhigang also became the sports committee member. Chen Mengting is the youth league secretary like the previous life, and Lu Kaiyu was elected as the literary and art committee member. Later in the class meeting, the head teacher also came and said a few words on stage. University class teachers are different from high school class teachers. There are more than 170 people in Li Jie's 4 Chinese major classes and they are one class teacher. Their identity is not students like Zhang Han, but teachers. Moreover, the head teacher of the university is not very involved. The head teacher is a man named Yu Yang, a native of Hongcheng. He is about 30 years old, skinny, wears glasses, and speaks with a Hongcheng accent. In Li Jie's impression, this head teacher's presence was very low. After the class meeting ended, the class leaders were left to get their military training uniforms. Li Jie was also stopped by Zhang Han. "Li Jie, you are the only one in our class who has not paid your tuition. Do you have any difficulties? If so, you can tell me." Zhang Han looked at Li Jie. From the way he was dressed, she didn't feel like he was in trouble at home. Li Jie said happily, "Sister, I will pay the tuition tomorrow." 8 o'clock in the evening, in the dormitory. Li Jie was doing push-ups when He Zhigang walked in holding a pile of military training uniforms and said, "Military training uniforms have been issued." Wang Zhaiheng took over the military training uniform and complained while trying it on, "This camouflage uniform is too inferior. It's rough and thin. It's not even worth the 20 yuan it costs." So we charged 150 yuan. Li Jie stopped doing push-ups, jumped up from the ground, took the camouflage uniform, and threw it on the bed. He thought that when the teaching equipment is handed out, you will see what a real trap is. He took 240 yuan and only gave one. It's only a radio worth more than 10 yuan. At this time, I heard He's Higang say, Cheng Xiang is really a show-off. Yang Hao asked, Brother Gang, did that boy Cheng Xiang offend you? I just can't stand his face. He keeps saying that we, the people from the capital, are so awesome. Are you from the capital worth something? Why don't you stay in the capital and come to Hongcheng for such an awesome person? You still want to chase Lu Kaiu? Don't even look at what you look like. Just because you have a registered residence in the capital, you can have a house in the capital, Li Jie said casually. Seeing Li Jie playing the opposite tune, He's Higang was unhappy. Who are you, Jizi? Why are you trying to tear me down? Yang Hao came up with an idea on the side. Isn't Cheng Xiang going to chase Lu Kaiu? Let's catch him first and see if he still has the nerve to show off. He's Higang glanced at him and said, Who is going to chase you? I won't go. Hazi, why don't you go? Yang Hao smiled sarcastically and said, I can't do it. I'm too fat and others won't look down on me. Brother Jie, go ahead. Li Jie said funnily, Why should I go? Because you are handsome and rich, you have the best chance of pursuing him. Not going. Li Jie shook his head. Rich people have become handsome. In his last life, he had never seen Yang Hao say that to him. I don't like people. Wang Zhaihang suddenly said, I'll go, I'll chase him. He's Higang was a little surprised. Old Wang, are you serious? Really? Wang Zhaihang nodded. I have a lot of feelings for Lu Kaiu, buddy, you have to support me. Don't worry, Lao Wang, my brothers will definitely support you with all their strength. Brother Wang, we will definitely support you if you go. He's Higang and Yang Hao expressed their support. Wang Zhaihang said to Li Jie, Jizi, what about you? Li Jie smiled and said, Of course I support it. He said this, but he didn't think so in his heart. Wang Zhaihang was just a scumbag. He talked sweetly when chasing girls and wanted to get rid of them when he got tired of them. In his last life, there was a girl in the class who dropped out of school because of him. Isn't helping this kid helping the enemy to do evil? However, Li Jie was a little surprised that Wang Zhaihang suddenly wanted to pursue Lu Kaiu. This did not happen in his previous life. At this time, He's Higang remembered something and said, Jizi, did you win the lottery? Neither Lao Wang nor I won. Lottery. Li Jie had forgotten the lottery ticket a long time ago. Let me take a look. Let me tell you, in the lottery last night, someone in Hongcheng won the first prize of 15 million yuan in 3 bets. It is said that the winner is a college student. He is so lucky. He's Higang's tone was full of envy. Li Jie frowned. When he was being interviewed today, he accidentally said that he came to Hongcheng to study and didn't want to be exposed so soon. If he hadn't made up his identity as a second-generation rich man and suddenly became lavish in spending money, he might have been targeted by someone with serious intentions. Yang Hao said, 15 million, let alone winning, I feel happy just thinking about it. With so much money, what kind of woman do you want to play with? Is it Brother Jie? Li Jie smiled and didn't answer, and said to himself, I am the lucky guy who won 15 million. It's a pity that I can't sue you. Speaking of which, he really has to thank He's Higang for winning the prize. Li Jie took out the lottery ticket from the drawer and found that he had really won. I won 10 yuan. Brother Gang, please cash it in for me. Use the money to treat everyone to drinks. Okay. He's Higang took the lottery ticket. Jizi, you hit 4 red balls. What a pity, if you also hit the blue ball, it would be 200 yuan, he said regretfully. Li Jie put on a new pair of short-sleeved sportswear and sneakers, and was about to go downstairs for a run and practice boxing, when Yang Hao came over. Brother Jie, why didn't you come back last night? It's too late to play in the city. There are no buses, Li Jie said casually. Then when we opened the room, did you? Yang Hao had a lustful smile on his face, but he hesitated to speak. Li Jie glanced at him and said, Huzi, don't go to the shampoo room to take care of business, otherwise you will be tricked sooner or later. Li Jie was not cursing him, but prophesying. It's around 9 p.m., girls' dormitory, 4th floor, dormitory 408. Huo Lily walked in excitedly. Ziyawai, am I right? Tan Hui, who was lying on the bed, put down the English novel in her hand and asked, what do you mean? Li Jie is the second generation of rich people. Wen Jing's boyfriend is in the same dormitory as Li Jie. He heard what Li Jie said personally. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanjie. Chapter 17. Tan Hui was silent for a few seconds and said, what does that have to do with me? Huo Lily looked at her and smiled, yes, I know, you and him are just ordinary classmates. A beautiful girl dressed sexily, with black suspenders and short shorts, fair skin, oval face, big eyes, and a hint of coquettishness in her innocence asked with interest, what is the rich second generation, and who is Li Jie? What are you talking about? Tsuyu, we are talking about Ziyawai's high school classmate, a hidden rich second generation. The hidden rich second generation is the Li Jie you call him. How rich is he? I don't know, but I spent nearly 20,000 yuan just after school started. My family must be quite rich. Then Huo Lily told them about their encounter with Li Jie again. After listening to Huo Lily's words, Zhou Ziyu became more interested. 3 years in high school, Ziyawai didn't know anything about it? How interesting. After turning off the lights, Li Jie was lying on the bed playing with his mobile phone when he suddenly received a text message from Tan Hui. Li Jie, I don't blame you for what happened on the train. Calm down and think about it. You were just impulsive. I can understand that. We can still be friends in the future. You must be sick. Li Jie deleted the text message casually. When we met in the afternoon, we were still cold-blooded, and then suddenly sent a message in the middle of the night, saying that we were still friends. He wondered if she was a little schizophrenic. Could it be that he is being held back and forced to retreat? If you act like a dog licker and please her, she will feel annoyed. When you ignore her, she will come back to you instead. No matter what she thought, Li Jie shook his head in his heart. He would never turn around. Think about it, with so many beauties on campus, Tan Hui's looks can only be considered average. In the last life, I was really lost. I actually brought my own filter and always regarded her as a goddess. At 9 a.m. the next day, the football field was filled with freshmen wearing camouflage uniforms. The freshmen gathered in small square formations in class units. In the team of Chinese Class 2, Wang's Haihang squatted on the ground and said somewhat boredly, why haven't the instructors come yet? Someone said, it should be coming soon. He's Higang said hopefully, I wonder if I can touch the gun. Cheng Xiang curled his lips and said, stop dreaming. The military training in this school is just to find a few armed police officers to teach us to line up and walk in a straight line. Isn't that just like high school military training? It's all in vain, a boy complained. Those Xian province girls are so beautiful, Yang Hao pointed to the Xian province Xiamen girls gathered not far away. There are indeed many good-looking ones, Wang's Haiheng, Cheng Xiang and others also agreed. It has to be said that the number of beauties among young people in Xinjiang is really high. They are tall, with tall noses and deep eyes, and exotic looks. 6 or 7 out of 10 girls are beauties. It's just that Li Jie has never been able to appreciate this exotic Western-style aesthetic with thick faces. He still prefers Oriental beauties with light faces, who are pure, sweet, and cute, the Ziyajia biotype. After waiting for more than 20 minutes, the instructors finally arrived. The 15 armed police officers are led by a company commander. Military training officially begins. The square formations that were originally based on classes were redivided, and more than a dozen square formations were reorganized according to men and women. Under the leadership of the instructors, basic movements such as standing at attention, taking a rest, and disbanding, as well as stopping, turning, marching, and stops, formation changes, direction changes, etc. Generally speaking, according to the common routine of rebirth novels, during military training, the instructor will always teach the new students a lesson, and then the protagonist will rescue them, or the protagonist will compete with the instructor, and then defeat the instructor, winning the applause of the freshmen and the attention of the military commander. But in Lige's case, nothing happened. As an ordinary member of the military training recruits, he just followed the ordinary training for more than an hour, and then slipped away during the break. Yes, he skipped training. Their military training is not strict at all. Even if they find someone skipping training, as long as there are not too many people running away, the instructor will not care at all, let alone go to the dormitory to arrest you. In the last life, Lige only dared to envy others when he saw others skipping training, but he did not dare. But once again, he didn't want to repeat that simple, boring, and painful training. So when the training ended at noon, He's Higang and Yang Hao, who were sun-baked and exhausted and sweating profusely, returned to the dormitory. They found Lige wearing a t-shirt and shorts, blowing on a fan, and playing with his laptop leisurely. They suddenly felt sad. It's out of balance. Damn, Jizi, how dare you skip training, He's Higang shouted. Brother Je, you are so happy. I don't want to go in the afternoon. Yang Hao was full of envy. He was already fat, and now the weather is so hot that he has been sweating like a river all morning. Wang's Haihang frowned and said, Jizi, if the instructor finds out about skipping training, the punishment will be serious and you may get a demerit. I think you should go to training with us in the afternoon. He's Higang and Linjing also advised, yes, Jizi, you can also go to training in the afternoon. Besides, although military training is tiring, it is a rare experience. Brother Je, let's go together. We will also sing duets with the girls tonight. Li Jie shook his head, a demerit is a demerit. If I get caught by the instructor, I will be unlucky. Just don't report me. Damn, Jizi, what are you talking about, He's Higang said unhappily. Seeing this, Wang's Haiheng, Linjing and the others stopped trying to persuade him. During the afternoon training, Yang Hao also skipped training and hid in the internet cafe. In addition, there is a boy named Hu Xiangchao in the class who did not go to the military training. He rented a computer and stayed in the dormitory playing the online game Zhu Xian. Li Jie also took his laptop and went to the teaching building to code. After all, he was skipping training. It was too much to stay in the dormitory blatantly. Moreover, if the instructor raided the dormitory, he would be caught. A week passed in the blink of an eye. Every day, Li Jie took his computer and went to the teaching building to find a free classroom to code. He would code all day long. Therefore, the writing progress is extremely fast. He has completed all 8 volumes of the outline of martial arts without limits, writing a total of more than 100,000 words. Moreover, I have already started writing the first volume, and I have saved more than 20 chapters of the manuscript. After Li Jie plans to open the internet cable, he will publish the book online. At this time, there is no Wi-Fi on campus, but there are network ports in the student dormitories. To activate the internet, students need to go to the internet center on the 4th floor of the library to register for internet access and pay the internet fee. The internet fee is 40 yuan a month. Of course, you can also get an internet traffic card to access the internet, but the cost is high and the traffic is limited. Li Jie was not short of money, so for the sake of convenience, he simply decided to do both. This morning, Li Jie first coded in the classroom for a while, then went to the internet center, lined up to fill out a form and paid the internet fee. At noon, he returned to the dormitory, took his lunchbox and went to the cafeteria to get food. Li Jie these days runs in the morning and evening, practices boxing and codes during the day, which consumes a lot of energy and consumes a lot of his body. He can't make do with food. He ordered a chicken steak, a stir-fried lean pork, and a spicy tofu. A vegetarian dish and a bag of fresh milk, a combination of meat and vegetables, meat, eggs and milk. It is rich in nutrition. The book friend's skirt number is 600369020. There are pictures of characters in the group. Please fill in Li Yuanze for verification. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanze. Chapter 18. Li Jie, the staple food, did not ask for rice. He was not used to southern indica rice, so he ordered 2 large steamed buns. Thinking about the days when he barely ate indica rice every day in order to save money in his previous life, Li Jie couldn't help but shake his head. If you treat yourself so harshly, what will you get in return? Li Jie walked calmly towards the dormitory with his lunchbox. When a girl wearing military training uniforms and a haircut passed by him, she suddenly squatted on the ground in pain, clutching her stomach. "Classmate, are you okay?" Li Jie walked over and asked. "My stomach hurts." The girl reluctantly raised her head, her little face wrinkled in pain. "How about I take you to the infirmary?" Li Jie wanted to help the girl go to the infirmary, but she was in so much pain that she couldn't walk, so after getting her consent, he directly carried her on his back. The girl doesn't look short, but her weight is very light. It feels like less than 90 pounds. Li Jie can carry it easily. The girl lay on Li Jie's back, hooked her arms around his neck, and pressed her warm body tightly against his. She was wearing thin summer clothes. A sentence suddenly popped up in Li Jie's mind: girls who weigh less than 100 are either flat-chested or short. Phew, what are you thinking about? Li Jie cursed himself secretly. LSP. Even if you don't see clearly what she looks like, you can still have erroneous thoughts. But this is actually not Li Jie's fault. Who knows that he is currently in a period of hormonal explosion and is in good health, so sometimes he is inevitably agitated. In many rebirth novels, the protagonist returns to his youth from his 30s or 40s, and remains calm and unmoved in the face of the temptations of beautiful women. In fact, it's nonsense when you think about it. Does a man's sexual desire depend on his heart? When men reach the age of 30 or 40, some suddenly see through the world of mortals. Have they become enlightened and don't want to think about it anymore? It's impossible. Li Jie carried the girl to the infirmary. The doctor on duty was a female doctor in her early 30s. After a brief examination, she said, "It's nothing. It's just stomachache caused by dysmenorrhea. I'll prescribe you some medicine." Then she looked at Li Jie and said, "I think she is still in military training, right? Ask her for a leave. Don't go there in the afternoon. Have a good rest in the dormitory and drink more hot water or brown sugar water." "Thank you, doctor," Li Jie nodded to express his understanding. "Brother, I'm really sorry for troubling you." After resting for a while, the girl was obviously no longer in pain, and her complexion also relaxed a lot. Only then did Li Jie take a closer look at her. What caught his eye was a pair of big deer-like eyes, clear and innocent, with long and curly eyelashes that were as charming as the wings of a butterfly flapping. The bridge of the nose is straight, the tip of the nose is cute, the round and cute nose, the red and soft lips are biting slightly, the pure and sweet face, and the cute little appearance. I don't know how many boys are the ideal first love type. For a moment, Li Jie's heart slowed down, and he saw what it meant to kill a straight man. Zhang School Beauty? Yangkoi? Milk Tea Sister? They all seem a bit similar, but more in line with Li Jie's aesthetic. Classmate Shen Xinyi, Li Jie looked at the campus card in his hand. Yes, my name is Shen Xinyi, senior brother, what do you call me? Senior brother? Only then did Li Zhe notice her title. He looked at his clothes and realized immediately that the freshmen were all wearing military training uniforms. She had obviously misunderstood him as an old student. Li Zhe smiled and did not explain. My name is Li Zhe. Which dormitory do you live in, classmate Xinyi? I'll take you back. Classmate Xinyi? New classmate? The name sounds a bit strange. Brother Li, don't bother me. I'll rest for a while and then go back by myself. You haven't had lunch yet, so hurry up. At this point, Shen Xinyi seemed to have remembered something and suddenly let out an ah. What's wrong? Shen Xinyi said anxiously, lunchbox, senior brother, you left the meal there and forgot about it, but you brought my lunchbox. She also picked up the lunchbox on the side and gestured. Li Zhe couldn't help but laugh. He thought her startled appearance was very cute and cute. Brother, why are you laughing? Shen Xian looked confused. Hurry and find the lunchbox, what if it disappears in a while? Okay, let's go look for it together, and I'll take you back to the dormitory, Li Zhe said and squatted down next to the chair. Come up, I'll carry you. He really wasn't motivated by sex and insisted on carrying her on his back. If it were a boy, he would definitely not be able to carry her on his back. No, I can go. When you slowly walk over, the lunchbox is really gone. That's true. Shen Xinyi actually believed it, and obediently lay on Li Zhe's back and hugged his neck. This girl is too stupid. It was really the first time that Li Zhe met such a cute girl. Li Zhe carried Shen Xinyi all the way back to where he was and found that his lunchbox and fresh milk were still lying on the flower bed by the roadside. Shen Xinyi said thankfully, fortunately, the things are still there. Don't worry, I won't let you pay for it if I lose it. Ah. I'm kidding, Li Zhe found this girl more and more interesting. Let's go, let me take you back to the dormitory. As soon as he entered the girls' dormitory, Li Zhe was stopped by the dormitory and, hey, this male student is in the girls' dormitory. Boys can't enter. Put your girlfriend down and let her go up by herself. Auntie, you misunderstood, we are not boyfriend and girlfriend, Shen Xinyi explained quickly. Are they all the same? Boys can't enter. Li Zhe smiled and said, Auntie, my classmate is sick and has just returned from the infirmary. Can you let me carry her up? You can watch me. After I send her up, she will leave immediately and will not stay. Are you really sick? The dormitory aunt looked suspicious. I'm really sick, Li Zhe gestured to the medicine prescribed in the infirmary. Auntie, you are so sharp-eyed, how can I dare to play tricks? Seeing that Li Zhe was so good at talking, the dormitory aunt took advantage of the situation and said, okay, then you can send her up, but leave immediately after seeing her off. In this way, under the supervision of the dormitory aunt, Li Zhe sent Shen Xinyi to the dormitory. As soon as Shen Xian was carried back, several roommates immediately gathered around him. My dear, what's wrong with you? Are you sick? I just had a sudden pain in my stomach. Senior brother Li sent me to the infirmary. I'm feeling much better now, Shen Xinyi explained. Are you senior brother Li? A tall girl with short hair stood up and said to Li Zhe. Thank you for sending us back obediently. Guai guai. Why do you all call her Guai guai? Li Zhe asked curiously. Because she is really well behaved, don't you think so, senior brother? A girl said with a smile. Li Zhe nodded in agreement, you are indeed very good. After saying that, he glanced at the dormitory aunt beside him and said, okay, Xinyi, I'll leave it to you. Remember to ask for leave for her during the military training in the afternoon, and I'll leave first. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanzhe. Chapter 19. Don't worry, senior brother. Goodbye, senior brother. After Li Zhe left, the short-haired girl looked at Shen Xinyi and joked, Xinyi. Good boy. You call me so affectionate. It seems that our good boys are very attractive. This senior brother Li is obviously interested in you. Yes, I can see it too. Honey, why don't you think about it? I think senior brother Li is not bad looking and has a good personality, another girl also said. Okay, don't talk nonsense. Senior brother Li is just helping me out of kindness. Shen Xinyi was a little embarrassed by what he said. Hey, dear, what is your senior brother Li's name? How old are you? What major do you major in? A girl asked. Oops, I forgot to ask, Shen Xian said angrily after realizing it. I only know his name is Li Zhe. Oh, you idiot. Shen Dede, the short-haired girl sighed, it seems that I guessed wrong. This senior brother Li doesn't mean that, or else he won't do good deeds without leaving his name. After walking out of the girls' dormitory, Li Zhe sighed. Shen Xinyi, junior college student, majoring in tourism management. In his last life, if he could have had a girlfriend like this, he would have loved her wholeheartedly, pampered her, and would have held her in the palm of his hand. But was he qualified to have such a girlfriend in his previous life? How to have something without a gold hoop, how to love someone with a gold hoop. Pity. When Li Zhe returned to the dormitory, it was almost 1 p.m. His Hegang and the others were packing their things and preparing to go to military training. It's so hot this afternoon, I really don't want to go, Lin Jing complained. Just hold on a little longer. There's only 1.5 days left. The last day on the 13th is the review meeting, so there's no need to train. After His Hegang finished speaking, he glanced at Li Zhe. Jizi is still living a comfortable life. If I had known that no one would care about me, I would have escaped. Seeing that Li Zhe easily escaped the military training without any problems, His Hegang and the others would be lying if they said they were not envious. Brother Gang, Lin Jing, you are all class leaders and activists, so you can't imitate a backward element like me, Li Zhe joked. His Hegang is the sports committee member of the class, and Lin Jing is also the league secretary of Chinese Class 3. Li Zhe took out his laptop, connected it to the internet, and ate while surfing the internet. Open the Kidian website, apply to become a writer, the pen name is Zimua, which is the split of the character Li, and then upload the first chapter of more than 3,000 words to the website for review. When you apply for an author number at Kidian, you are required to send a novel of 3,000 to 5,000 words to them for review. The review time is within 48 hours, and if the review is passed, you can log in to your author account and create a new work. New works need to upload 3 or more chapters in a row and pass the review of Kidian editor. After passing the review, your book will appear at the starting point 24 hours later. Wang Zhaiheng walked up behind Li Zhe, looked at his computer screen and asked, Jizi, can you make money by writing books online? At this time, writing books online is still a novelty in the eyes of most people. After all, people's impression of writers is that they have a profound cultural background and are not easy to become. When will ordinary people be able to write novels and sign contracts to become writers? Therefore, when they discovered that Li Zhe was writing online novels, everyone in the dormitory was very curious. Li Zhe explained, it's hard to say whether you can make money or not. It depends on whether your novel is popular online. Popular books will definitely make money, but there are many people writing books and very few will be popular. Novel that hits the street, you may not even be able to make money on the electricity bill. Is there any chance that the novel will be published? Lin Jing asked. In people's minds, only those who publish physical books are called writers. As I said before, it depends on whether your novel is popular online. If the novel is popular, publishers will naturally come to you. What Li Jie said is true. Writing online articles is really a dead end. The middle and low-level writers are really generating power for love, and they have to be cut off by capital. They can just write it themselves, and there is no need to drag others into trouble. Jizi, why did you write it? Wang Haiheng's tone was very unfavorable. That's called a hobby, do you understand? Besides, maybe Jizi's novel will become popular on the internet. He's Higeng patted Li Jie on the shoulder encouragingly. Write well, Jizi, and I will support you. Li Jie smiled and said nothing. In fact, after winning the prize, Li Jie's main purpose of writing a book was no longer to earn royalties. What he valued more was the IP value of the novel and the fame that writing novels brought. At this time, online article authors are more concerned with royalties and the opportunity for physical publishing, but do not pay much attention to film and television adaptation rights, because these things are not valuable and cannot even be sold at all. But Li Jie knows that in more than 10 years, the IP of a top online novel will be worth tens or even hundreds of millions. Every additional novel he writes at this time will mean tens of millions or even more in the future. Hundreds of millions of wealth. As for fame, this intangible asset is what Li Jie values most. In many rebirth novels, the protagonist likes to make a fortune in silence, start a business and participate in various business competitions, while also hiding his identity and hiding behind the scenes, euphemistically called low-key. But people with power and background talk about making a fortune and keep a low profile to avoid being resented by the public. You are an ordinary person with no background and no power. You go around taking other people's cakes and keep a low profile. You can only say that it is not enough. Soon. If virtue does not match the position, there will be disaster. If virtue is weak but the position is high, wisdom is small but the plan is big, strength is small but the responsibility is heavy, it is rare to be inferior. How much money can you make based on your ability? Li Jie is just an ordinary student, so even if he wins the lottery, he still has to hide his identity and make up a rich second-generation background, just to avoid being coveted. Because although he is rich, he does not have the ability to protect his wealth. This is called moral mismatch. But if he were a famous writer, would he still be afraid? Who would touch him for this little money? Therefore, even if you are a reborn person, don't think that just because you are on the edge of the storm, you can make trouble at will. You must know that even if you are on the edge of the storm, you are still a pig. The more wealth you have, the easier it is to be targeted by a shotgun. For Li Jie, making money is no longer a problem. The most important thing is to move forward step by step, lay a solid foundation, and master the ability to protect wealth. Otherwise, no matter how much wealth you have, it will be like quicksand in the palm of your hand. The next afternoon, when Li Jie opened the starting point, he found that the author account had been approved. So I immediately created a new version of Martial Arts Without Limits in the author's backend, and uploaded 3 chapters in a row for review by the editor. This time it was faster. In the evening, Li Jie received the approval message from the author's backend. At this time, he could search for the book Martial Arts Without Limits on the website. Li Jie looked at the data and saw that there were only 3 clicks, 2 recommendation votes, and 1 favorite. There is no way, the newcomer has just published a book and has no popularity at all. It is so miserable. As long as the work is good and the number of words increases, the popularity will naturally increase. The book friend's skirt number is 600369020. There are pictures of characters in the group. Please fill in Li Yuanze for verification. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanze. Chapter 20. For new authors, the only list that can be on the list is the potential list of new authors. The conditions for inclusion on the list are the first published work after becoming a Kidian writer, a work with more than 50,000 words in the public version and less than 200,000 words in total, a work that has been added to the Kidian library within 30 days, and has been updated every 3 days. Martial Arts Without Limits is currently not eligible to be on the list. The new potential list is the only opportunity for new authors to show their faces before signing a contract, otherwise their works will only be buried in the vast library. In order to reach 50,000 words as soon as possible, Leisha uploaded 3 more chapters, totaling more than 6,000 words. Then he thought about it and added a sentence under the introduction of the book page: "There are 300,000 manuscripts of this book, please feel free to collect and read it." Of course, Leisha didn't have 300,000 words in the manuscript. He didn't say that he was giving readers reassurance. After all, there were too many online articles about eunuchs. There is no threshold for writing online articles. Many people start a novel on a whim, only to give up after writing a few chapters, causing readers who are new to the novel to call it a rip-off. Therefore, many readers who are afraid of being cheated simply do not collect works that are not signed or have too few words. Of course, readers in this period are lovely, and they are more supportive and patient with new authors. Even if the works of newcomers are not well written, they will give encouragement or suggestions, and they will rarely criticize them directly in the comment area. Some readers are specifically looking for unsigned new books to read, and they are even more delighted when they find a book. Dry food helps the author to promote and recommend everywhere, but he is afraid that the author will become a eunuch because of poor grades. On the afternoon of the 13th, all freshmen held a grand military training review ceremony in the playground. After the review ceremony, the 10-day military training ended. While the freshmen were participating in the military training review, Leisha went to the driving school where he signed up and took the Subject 1 test. Of course Leisha can drive, but if he loses his driver's license after being reborn, he can only take the test again. On the second day of military training, he went to a nearby driving school to sign up. Students who learned to drive had a discounted registration fee of only 2,000 yuan. After signing up, Leisha stuffed the coach with a 1,000 yuan red envelope and showed off his driving skills. The coach happily said that there was no need to practice driving and he could just come to the test when the time came. He would also try his best to help Leisha while waiting for the test. Go and make arrangements, and you can get the certificate in a month or so at the earliest. The 14th is the official start day for freshmen. All 6 people in the dormitory got up early. Today is the first day of class, and everyone is in high spirits. But this is just the beginning of school, and the freshmen are still in the school excitement period and are very active. Soon, when the excitement period is over, it will be time to slack off, be late if they should be late, and be absent from class if they should be. After Leisha finished his run, he had breakfast in the cafeteria and started the starting point as soon as he returned to the dormitory. Yesterday, he uploaded 3 more chapters, 1 each in the morning, afternoon, and evening. The purpose of uploading them separately was to allow the novel to appear more often on the website page update list. After all, before a new book is listed on the list, it only stays on the website page for a few minutes every time it is updated to attract clicks. Leisha uploaded another chapter. At this time, the total word count of Martial Arts Without Limits has exceeded 20,000, the number of clicks has increased to more than 700, the recommendation votes have been more than 100, and there are 82 collections. For a new book by a newcomer that was uploaded just 2 days ago, this is a pretty good result. Leisha looked at the book review section and found several readers' comments. The book is very interesting. Come on, author. 3 votes for it? The author should update more, it's not enough. Support me, I hope the author doesn't want eunuchs. Leisha refined the book reviews, deleted all advertising posts, and closed the web page. 3 chapters a day. Tomorrow the total number of words in Martial Arts Without Limits will reach 30,000 words. 30,000 words is a hurdle. Kitty and editors will review the new book for the first time, and if it is suitable, it will be signed. The second signing review is for 50,000 words. If the author has not received the signing text message at this time, it means that the editor is not optimistic about the potential of the book. Even if he waits for the new book to reach 100,000 words and actively applies for signing review, 9 times out of 10, it will not be possible. Will pass. Li Jie is not sure whether he will receive a contract text message when he reaches 30,000 words. Kittian's contract signing standards do not depend on your grades, but only whether the editor is optimistic about your work. If the editor is not optimistic about your work, he will not sign a contract with you even if your grades are good. For example, the story of a mortal's cultivation of immortality was not favored by the editor because the plot was too bland in the early stage. It has written more than 300,000 words and has a collection of 10,000 to 20,000. It is still an unsigned work and has no recommendations. It is based on the support of readers. Arrived on the click list. Li Jie is confident in the quality of his novel, but he doesn't know if it can meet the editor's vision. At 8 o'clock in the morning, Li Jie and his Higang came together to class in room 3202 of Xiwan Building, the third teaching floor. The first 2 classes are English classes, Chinese classes 1 and 2, and the 2 classes are taught together. At this time, there were 50 or 60 people sitting in the classroom. They were all sitting in 2 or 3 together. Girls accounted for the vast majority. Basically, more than 40 of them were girls, occupying the front row. About 10 people were sitting in the front row. Most boys sit in the back row. Yang Hao touched Wang's Haiheng and signaled that the seat on Lu Kai's left was still vacant. Wang's Haiheng understood and immediately walked over, asking with a smile. "Commissioner, can I sit here?" Lu Kai glanced at Wang's Haiheng and smiled, "Sorry, this seat is occupied." After hitting a wall and returning, Wang's Haiheng looked a little resentful, and his Higang patted him on the shoulder to express comfort. The 4 of them, Li Jie, sat down in good seats in the back row. Cheng Xiang, who was sitting in the front row, turned his head, looked at Wang's Haiheng and said, "You also want to chase Lu Kaiu?" Wang's Haiheng asked, "Why can't I chase you?" Cheng Xiang stared at him for a few seconds before saying, "In that case, I will compete fairly to see who has the ability." At this time, there are still 20 minutes before class starts, and the classroom is like a boiling water furnace, everyone is busy with their own things. When class was only 5 minutes away, Lu Kaiu suddenly stood up and walked to the podium. His tall figure and beautiful face immediately attracted everyone's attention. "I need to tell you something. Our school will hold a welcome party on the evening of the 23rd. The arts department is soliciting programs for the party from all freshmen. Students in our class who have talents and want to participate in the party can come after class. Sign up with me and I will register the program for you." Culture Committee, is registration voluntary? Someone asked below. Lu Kaiu nodded. It's voluntary. The performances at the party are mainly performed by old students. We freshmen participate voluntarily. But I still hope that our class will put on a few more performances. Even if we don't choose any of them, at least it will show the charm of our Chinese class too. After Lu Kaiu went down, the Literary and Art Committee member of Class 1 came up to the stage again and briefly talked about the welcome party.